Okay, so get this right. Someone blew a hole in a museum wall to steal some ancient stuff.
Seriously?
Yeah, like a movie.
Right.
We're talking about the Drents Museum in the Netherlands.
Wow, Drents Museum.
Yeah, and they've been around forever, like almost 170 years, and now
And they used explosives
to get their hands on, get this, priceless Romanian artifacts.
No way.
Yeah, and now Interpol's involved.
That's crazy. So what did they steal exactly? Like, what's so special about this stuff?
Well, one of the biggest things they took was something called the helmet of Cotofinesti.
The helmet of Cotofinesti.
Yeah, almost 2,500 years old. Can you even imagine?
Okay, yeah, 2,500 years. So that puts it somewhere around like 450 BC.
Right. So old.
Yeah, that's incredible.
What do you know about this helmet?
Well, it's really a remarkable piece, you know. It's got all these intricate details, you know, mythological beasts and stuff.
Mythological beast. Wow.
Yeah, like imagine a helmet, right? And it's covered in these depictions of, I don't know, griffins or dragons. And it's not just the beasts, it's like the craftsmanship is just incredible.
Really?
Yeah, the crafters, they even managed to like incorporate a pair of eyes into the design.
Eyes on the helmet.
Yeah, it's like they're looking right at you. And it's all made by the Dacians. They were, you know, an ancient people who lived in what is now Romania.
So basically, it's not just some old helmet. It's like a window into their world.
Exactly. It's like holding a piece of history in your hands. It tells us about their beliefs, their artistry, their skill, you know, everything.
Wow.
It's a direct link to this really fascinating ancient culture.
It's crazy to think someone would just steal something like that.
I know, right? And actually, this isn't the first time Romanian artifacts have been targeted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the late 90s.
Late 90s?
Yeah, 24 Dacian bracelets were stolen, same kind of time period as the helmet. And they ended up all over the place, like in the international art market, you know?
So they just like pop up in some random auction house somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much. Makes you wonder, right? Like, what makes these artifacts so valuable to these thieves?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, is it just about the money? You know?
Right.
Or is there something more to it?
Well, I mean, yeah, they're worth a ton of money, that's for sure.
Right.
But honestly, it's the money, it pales in comparison to their cultural and historical value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these objects, they offer us this incredible window into the lives of the Dacians, their beliefs, their artistry, even their daily lives, you know?
Right.
Like, for example, we know the Dacians, they clashed with the Roman Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And these artifacts, they help us piece together that story, you know, their legacy.
Wow. So each artifact is like another piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
when they're stolen, it's like we lose part of that story forever, you know?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And it makes it harder to understand and appreciate their culture, you know?
Makes sense. So what happened with those bracelets from the 90s? Did they ever, like, find them?
Yeah, actually. The Romanian government, they launched this huge international effort to recover them.
Wow, a huge effort.
Yeah. They were really determined. It took years, though. Like years of investigation spanning all these countries, you know? Austria, Germany, France, even the UK and the US.
So it was a global thing.
Oh, yeah, totally. And it was worth it in the end. They managed to retrieve a lot of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that they were able to get them back.
It is pretty amazing, yeah.
But it's also kind of, I don't know, scary. Like, it shows how vulnerable this stuff is, even in museums.
Right.
Makes you wonder, like, what does this mean for museums and, you know, cultural heritage in general?
Yeah, you're right to be concerned. I mean, this whole thing with the explosives, it's a pretty, like, disturbing trend, you know?
Yeah.
Museums try their best, but they're vulnerable, you know?
Yeah.
And when stuff is stolen, it's not just about the money, you know? It's about the damage.
Yeah, you mentioned damage before. What kind of damage are we talking about?
Well, first of all, there's the risk of physical damage. I mean, a lot of these objects, they're fragile, you know?
Yeah.
And just the act of stealing them can, you know, cause breakage or degradation, you know?
That makes sense.
But then there's also, like, the loss of historical context.
What do you mean?
Well, when something's taken from its original site, you lose a lot of information, like about its surroundings, its purpose, how it was used, its connection to other objects. It's like, imagine you're reading a history book, right? And someone just rips out a bunch of pages.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's like that. You lose part of the story. It's just gone.
Yeah, it's like, it's more than just the object itself.
Exactly. It's about its place in the bigger picture, you know, how it fits into the whole story of history.
So what can we even do about it? Like, how do we protect these things and make sure they're not stolen?
Well, I think this whole heist, it's a wake-up call, for museums for sure. They need to like really look at their security measures.
Yeah.
Think about using, more advanced technology, working together more internationally.
Collaborating, yeah.
Exactly. But it's also, I think it's a reminder for everyone.
What do you mean?
Well, these artifacts, they're not just, some country's possessions. They represent our shared human history.
That's true.
Yeah, so we all have a responsibility, I think, to be aware of this problem, to support efforts to protect cultural heritage and advocate for the return of stolen artifacts.
It's up to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about governments or museums.
Like, we're all caretakers of history in a way.
Exactly, and we need to act like it.
Well said. This has been really eye-opening, I gotta say.
Glad to hear it.
It's just crazy to think that these treasures, they're more than just objects. They're like threads in the fabric of human history,
Right.
And it's up to all of us to make sure those threads aren't lost.
Couldn't agree more.
It's definitely something to think about.